Welcome to another edition of Union County Conversation, a show that helps you understand Union County government and its services. I'm your host, Meg McElwain. Joining me today is Richard McMillan, Assistant Director of Union County Public Works, and we're going to talk about a preventative maintenance program that Public Works will be doing on our water system starting February 23rd.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks for joining me.
Meg, my pleasure.
So why don't we start by just an overview of what the program is about?
Okay. The system, our distribution system, we currently use chloramines to disinfect our water at the joint venture water treatment plant we have, the Catawba River. And every now and then, based on guidelines from the EPA and from the state, there's no hard guidelines, but every few years, we will transition from a chloramine treatment process over to a free chlorine treatment process. And by doing that, we'll start pulling free chlorine into the system to run a different disinfection through the system basically to improve the water quality throughout our entire distribution system.
Interesting. That's really interesting. And so why is the program important?
It's important because we want the residents of Union County, our customers, to have some of the best water we can possibly produce and deliver to their house. For this process, by doing it, we'll improve the taste and the odor of the water, make sure there's no bacteria, biofilm, or anything in the pipes that could affect water quality.
So it says that this program is a regional program. What other groups are involved?
Yes, ma'am. The Lancaster Water and Sewer District and Union County both own, through a joint venture, the Catawba River Water Treatment Plant.
Okay.
So both entities have discussed having what we call a chlorine burnout, where we run free chlorine throughout the entire system. But in order for one to do it, both has to do it. So we've decided to do a joint venture on that. Because Union County also purchases water from Anson County, that's part of our water supply as well. We've talked to Anson County as well, and they have agreed to participate at the same time. So we basically have three utilities doing this chlorine burnout at the same time throughout all their systems.
Well, and that makes sense. I mean, it makes sense to bring everybody together and to do it at once. And now the program will start February 23rd, and how long will it run?
It'll run for roughly a month.
Okay.
Now, when we start, that's the date the water plant will actually start transitioning. Sometime in that time period, they'll transition over to free chlorine. It'll take a few days for it to get into the system, and then over the next 3 to 4 weeks, we'll actually start pulling it farther into the system and making sure it's reaching all legs of the distribution system.
Well, who will be affected? Will everyone within the water treatment area, or give me some information about who will be affected and what groups might need to be maybe on a little bit more alert?
Okay. Customers of Union County Public Works will be the ones affected. The City of Monroe, they have their own water treatment system and their own customers, so they won't be affected unless they're doing a burnout, which we don't think they're doing one at this time. So anyone who's on Union County water system will be affected by this treatment process.
So what can the residents expect to see with their water? Will they see changes in the water?
Most residents will see nothing. And the most important thing that residents need to understand is the water is perfectly safe to drink, it is safe to consume, it is safe to use for baths, dishwasher, everything else that you would regularly use water for. What some residents may see is a slight cloudiness in the water. They might have a slight chlorine taste, a slight odor to it as it's going through. If residents see that, flush it throughout in their house, turn a tub faucet on, turn an outside spigot on. That way, if there's any particles in the water, it won't stop up a strainer inside the house. And then, if it continues more than a few minutes, give us a call and we'll go out and see if we can flush hydrants in the area and improve the water quality there.
And you can find more information about this program on the website at unioncountync.gov or by calling the number on your screen. So if during this period you see cloudiness in your water or you experience a high chlorine taste, don't hesitate, especially if it lasts for more than a few minutes, don't hesitate to call the number on your screen. So are there any groups who should take special precaution during this program?
Yes, Meg. We'll be actually contacting the hospitals and some of the dialysis centers. Pet stores, people that use water for aquariums, ponds, and those type of things. Any companies that use water for processing, any type of food products or anything. They typically know, and they know how to treat for chlorines and chloramines. There's a little different treatment process for both, and so they need to be aware of it and realize when we start switching that they'll have to switch their treatment process a little bit as well.
And so you have a program in place where you'll be reaching out to those groups?
Yes, ma'am. We'll start reaching out to them very soon.
So how often do you conduct this program? You mentioned a little bit about some guidelines earlier, but give me a little bit more detail about how often this program, a program of this nature, is conducted.
Typically, from what we have seen across the state, there are no hard guidelines for it. A lot of it's based on the distribution systems because they all vary and they behave differently. We have not done this. Union County has not done this chlorine burnout since we switched over to chloramines in 2009. After we do this, we'll evaluate the results and then evaluate water quality over the next year or so and see possibly every 2 years, maybe every 3 years.
That's good information to have. So why switch to free chlorine for this activity?
Okay. Chloramine itself is a great way to disinfect water. It is long lasting and it lasts a lot longer than free chlorine throughout the system. But it does have some side effects, nitrification of the line and some of the other aspects. It'll allow a biofilm to grow on the inside of the pipe. It's not very harmful. It affects the water quality a little bit, maybe taste and odor a little bit. So by switching to free chlorine, the free chlorine is a very strong disinfectant. It'll actually go through the system. It'll kill a lot of this. It'll clean the system out. And then once we do that, we'll switch back to chloramine and we'll go back to the long-lasting disinfectant.
And when you say system, you're referring to the actual pipes that the water travels through from the treatment center to the consumer's home?
Yes, ma'am. We have about 600 miles of distribution pipes throughout our entire system. So our goal is to get free chlorine throughout all of those pipes throughout the entire county.
So why are programs like this conducted during this time of year? Is there a specific reason?
There are. Typically, these programs are conducted either in the fall or in the spring of the year. You don't want to do them in the wintertime because if you're flushing hydrants, of course, the obvious thing is they'll freeze on the roadways. You don't want to do it in the summertime because that's when your demand is highest in the system. Everyone's wanting to irrigate, fill pools, use water around the house. So if we do it at that time, we'll put an extra demand on the water system, which is really going to hurt pressures. So by doing it at this time of the year, the system is very calm, so to speak. And so by doing it, we'll have the best shot at getting water through the system as fast as possible.
Well, Richard, thanks for coming in to talk to us about the program. And again, this program will begin on February 23rd. There'll be a chlorine cleanout of the utility system. You can call the number on your screen if you have any additional questions or visit the website at unioncountync.gov. I'm your host, Meg McElwain, and we hope you have a great day in Union County.